Hi, this is Dave Anderson from Helicool's Helipad. We're going to be making some Char-Cotton today. So come on along, have some fun. Alright, so the first thing to do to make some Char-Cotton is, I just like Altoids tins because, well, I kind of like Altoids. And so I go through them, and plus I get them from my dad and my brothers. They save them for me. So the first thing I do is I take a small drill bit, and because I have OCD, I go right inside the O there and I drill out a small hole. Alright, well, most drill bits are a little sharper than that, but that's really all the size hole that you want. And of course, you want to remove anything that's on the inside, any of that paper, all that kind of stuff. The next thing you do is you get a old cotton t-shirt, make sure that it's 100% cotton. And what I do is I tear the arms off, and that just makes it a little bit easier to manage because I'm going to cut this into strips. So in order to facilitate that, I'm going to fold it up just a little bit and begin the process of cutting this up. And again, in strips, probably about, well, you can do it as wide as it can, which is about maybe 1 3/4 inches, maybe 2 inches. Just get a big old nice pair of scissors. All right, I do have cut this in half. All right, so I'm going to start cutting this about half the size of the can this way, so I can have 2 stacks, one stack on this side, one stack on this side. Each one of these pieces of shirt is going to be potentially a single fire source for you. So when you look at how many that are in here already, there's got to be about 30 or 40, maybe even more than that, inside that stack. So potentially each can could have about 75 of these. And if you're careful about how you use them, you may only need one piece to start one fire. Sometimes if you don't quite have the wood or tinder dry enough, it may take 2 or 3. So either way, this is one little strip here is good to do to fill this can up and then some. Now when you burn everything up inside of here, these cans actually have a spray-on lacquer that's food grade. And that's so that this doesn't tarnish. Now when you heat this up and put it in the coals, all of this lacquer will come off, and you'll have to blow it out to kind of get rid of it. But after you've burned it once, obviously you won't have that problem with the lacquer anymore. So I'm going to stack. I'm going to practically fill this one up. Okay. And that one is ready to go into the coals. So now I have almost the whole shirt cut up into a strip. I don't know how many layers are here, but there's a lot. If you got a nice pair of scissors, you'll go through it, no problem, and you'll make about half a can every time that you make a cut. Oh, that's already got some in it. I'm gonna add some more. Well, all right, we're about ready to make some coal burning. So I got my chimney. Got a bunch of loose ones because, well, this one bin has been out in the weather for a while. But that's okay. This charcoal seems to have no problem dealing with it. All right, just like that. You can see it. Put some paper underneath like that. Just get that paper going, and pretty soon that whole thing will be ablaze. Light this puppy up. These are not match light or anything like that. They're just regular Kingsford briquettes. If you can't get them on the first try, then stick another piece of newspaper under there and try her again. It looks like she's going to cook off. We'll just wait about 5 or so minutes for all the coals to kind of get going, and then we'll start arranging them. All right, so you can tell by the red glow that looks like some of them are started. I'm going to give it just a few more minutes to make sure a few more of them are going, and then just start spreading them out. And we'll start putting the Altoids tins on them and getting some of this Char-Cotton going. All right, looks like we've got it going pretty good here. You see it's coals are starting to catch on. What the heck? Okay. We good still? All right. We're just gonna dump the coals out. You don't want to keep them in this too long because, well, it's just thin metal and you don't want to destroy this, getting it too hot. Obviously, I shouldn't have to tell you, but you shouldn't do this indoors. It produces carbon monoxide. Even though you can't see any of the smoke, carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas, and it will asphyxiate you. So, like I said, I shouldn't have to tell you this. Don't do this indoors. And don't try to pick these up by your bare hands. All right, and there we go. Pretty soon we'll start to see some smoke come out of those little holes that we drilled. And as soon as the smoke stops, we know that it's done. Of course, we're going to turn them just to make sure, and then we'll know it's done. Now, some will say that you don't have to drill the hole because the can is not sealed up enough, and actually the hinges is where a lot of the smoke will come out of, which that's absolutely true. You don't have to drill the hole. I just like to drill it because, well, you can see the smoke come right out of that hole really nice and easy. Because there's a lot of coals here, you can see there's smoke coming up out of just about everywhere, but if you just have it in a little bit of coal, you're only going to see it come out of that little hole. And that's just not the case with when you got a stack of them like this on a nice bed of coals like I just made.
If you start to see any flame come up from any one of those holes, you want to take a little stick and dab it out, and then pull the can just a little bit further out away from the heat. It's just getting a little bit too hot, and it'll ignite the smoke coming out. You don't want that.
Do something to waste the time in between, right? Might as well have some fun. Oh, that's fun.
Well, you see that? Starting to flare up a little bit. Just take it out. It's time to start turning these around anyway, because it looks like some of them are almost done smoking. But you definitely don't want to have it catch on fire like that. But you can tell most of these just not smoking as much as it used to. Now that I turn this around, it's smoking a little bit more, but that's so that you can get it evenly cooked on all sides, so that you don't have any cotton left. It all becomes char. So you definitely want to make sure that it gets done smoking, but you don't want it to catch on fire. Okay, now that they're all done smoking, these are still quite hot, but they're not smoking anymore, so we're gonna set them off to the side, let them cool off. There's still, of course, quite a bit of heat in these. You can see it's still hot. So you could do a couple of batches of Altoids or Char-Cotton in Altoids tins with the same amount of charcoal. I could probably get at least 3 batches out of this, and it'd be just fine. So we'll cool those off, and we'll check them out inside as soon as I feel like they're cool enough. Now this is kind of what it's supposed to look like, but you can see that it's still brown, so it didn't quite get cooked all the way. But this one I'm going to need to stick back into the fire, or rather into the coals. All right, that's what you want to see. I know that's kind of hard to see because it's all black in there, but it should come out, and it should be fairly flexible, just like that. And I'll show you what it looks like when just a little bit of spark hits it. Okay, that's all it takes. Put this right into your fire bundle, your bird's nest, and you blow that right into a flame. And that's what Char-Cotton is about right there.